In this video, we're going to be going over a few simple tips on how to properly move elevated. Make sure you stick around to the end of this video so you can master your elevated movement. The reason that we want to get good at elevated movement is because that is when we're in a relaxed stance. So elevated, relaxed, it's all the same. That's when the puck is on the perimeter. So we're not down low in our stance, we're easing off of our stance, we're resting our legs, because it is super hard to stay down in our stance for long periods of time. Now, if the puck's below the tops line and down, tops of the circles, we're more likely than not, we're going to be down in our stance. 99.9% of the time, we're going to be down, stick down, we're going to be low. But when the puck comes up and stays on that perimeter across the blue line, that is the time to ease out of the legs and get in our elevated movement. It is way easier to move like that than down in my stance. When I'm moving elevated, my feet, I don't ever want to get further than just a little bit outside of shoulder width apart. If I get out here, now I'm dug into my inside edges, I might as well be down low in my stance. So when I'm moving elevated, I never want to have my feet further than this apart. So it's way easier to move around, it's easier on the legs, and I'm not pushing against the ice. The one common mistake that I see, especially a lot of younger goaltenders, and this is a touchy subject because a lot of young goalies have a tough time just bending their knees. So we wouldn't be teaching this to an 8-year-old or a 9-year-old. This is once you start to get a little bit older and a little bit stronger. If you're just getting introduced to moving elevated, a couple things. I want to make sure, I'll move sideways, that my knees are still bent. Okay? I don't want to be hinging at my hips, putting myself into my heels. All I want to do is have a slight little knee bend when I'm moving around elevated. The other thing, my upper body, I want to be a little bit over top of my hips so I have head trajectory. I've seen a lot of goaltenders, especially 12, 13 years old, when they get elevated, they're up straight like a mummy, okay? We got to stay over top of our hips just a little bit all the time so we can, if we have to get low and get into our stance, we can very easily. The last important thing about moving elevated is it helps me stay patient on setting my edges. We don't want to be down in our stance moving around like this when the puck's in our own zone the whole time because I'm set way too early. We want to try to be as late as possible, but not late. Just right at the last second, I'm making sure my timing is on. I'm working down into that. Do these tips next time you're on your ice in your training session or you're practicing your elevated movement, and let us know how it goes in the comments below.